Now let me talk a little bit about the DualShock 4, the controller. It pretty much looks like the PlayStation controller. Like, pretty much the same. And that's one thing about Sony when it comes to the PlayStation. Their controllers haven't changed. They hardly ever change their controllers. And I don't think they want to change it, because they want it to be specific. They want it to be, to stand out from the Xbox. They want it to be PlayStation. It's hard for me to still use a PlayStation controller. It's not like, oh my god, I can't play it, just because I'm so used to the Xbox controller. But this one actually looks a little bit better than the one that already exists, the actual PS3 controller. I kind of like this one better, especially because of the triggers. The triggers on the PlayStation controller, the PS3, I don't like them because they're like buttons and not so much like triggers. I like the Xbox triggers because they're triggers, and it really feels like when you're shooting, it feels like you're shooting, you know? It's easier for me. And with the PS3, I always have this tendency of thinking that I'm going to press it down, but it's just a button. So it's like, I get so, like, not used to it. But, I mean, for PS3, for PlayStation users, it's probably super normal for them. So I don't know how they're going to transition to a trigger. But I like the idea of the trigger, so that's pretty cool. It looks like it has a grip on the handles. And then, of course, the newest thing, the thing that makes the middle part a little bit wider, not too much wider, a little bit wider, is the touch screen on the top. It's a tiny little touch screen. It's not that big. So I don't think it's going to really be in the way or anything. But that's the way that they want people to input information. I guess it's like to switch from screen to screen, you're probably going to have to, like, on the touch screen, you're going to be like, whoo, whoo. Oh, watch. I think that's going to be like that. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out, because I've never had to do that on a controller. I'm not a huge fan when it comes to touchscreen, but I'm really glad. I'm so glad that they didn't do something crazy like, say, the Wii U, where it's like a freaking screen and you're just like, oh my god, that would have been weird. So I'm glad that it's just a tiny little touch screen and there's nothing on it. It's just for you to swipe and all that. It's not like you have to, like, look down here as another screen. And then there's the share button off to the left. It's a tiny little button, so that also isn't all in your face. There's a light on the top, which is the LED light, which is to it changes color depending on who the players. I guess player 1, player 2, player 3, that like kind of thing, different colors. And they were also saying how if it also shows if a player is getting hurt in the game or something like that. I don't know if it flashes or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they need that. I mean, if you're playing 2 players with somebody in the room, you would know that they're getting hurt by just looking at the screen and not be like, oh my god, are you getting hurt? And then having to look at the controller. You know what I mean? Whatever. The light really doesn't make it that much of a difference to me. And the joysticks are, they're not as round. They're kind of sunk in. They said that they fixed the rumbling. I don't know how they fixed it. I mean, it rumbles. Is it gonna rumble more or what? Is it gonna, like, you're gonna feel it in your head now? It's like, ooh, I'm getting shocks. It's gonna, like, shock you now. It has a built-in speaker and a headset jack. Kind of, I think the Xbox 360 has that, doesn't it? I think, yeah, you could plug in your headset there, and yeah. So I think it's gonna be like that. And then the dual camera that it comes with, it senses the depth of the environment in front of the controller, and it tracks 3D location of the controller. That's another thing about next-gen consoles. It's going to incorporate 3D. I know that for sure, especially if it's dual camera. There's 3D there. It has a mic, so it detects sounds. It also improves the precision of the move. You will be able to play PS3 games on the PS4, but the PS4 is not going to be cross-compatible. So you're not going to be able to stick in a PS3 CD. It's going to be an emulator. So it's pretty much going to be like the PS3. It's an emulator. And like the new the Xbox 360 Slim, it's an emulator. It's not, you know, if you put in an Xbox game in the new 360, the Slim, it sounds like it's gonna blow up. Where you're just like, oh my god, the minute I open the tray, the disc is gonna be melted. I was playing Red Dead Revolver once on my Xbox 360 Slim. This is gonna kill my Xbox. I turned it off immediately and I was like, so the PS4 is an emulator, and I'm not too happy about that. I mean, I hate emulators. I mean, they're good. It's good that you could play PS3 games, but they don't look nearly as good as if it were cross compatible. So whatever. Like I said, maybe the PS4 won't even have capability of using discs. So it's like, well, yeah, that is cross compatible when it comes to digital. You know, everything is digital now, so screw discs. Which I don't know how that's gonna work. Now let me talk a little bit about the games that were shown off. They all looked amazing. I mean, the graphics on the PS4 are really cool. And think about it. When the PS3 was announced in E3 2005, the footage that they showed off looked freaking awesome. Where you're just like, oh my god, for 2005. It was like, dude, that looks so cool. For back then, that technology was awesome. When it came out, as the years went by, it only started to get way better. Like, the graphics started to get really, really nice. Like, where it is now, where the PS3 is now, it's nowhere comparable to the PS4, of course, but it's good. It's good graphics. So, imagine the PS4 with what we're seeing now. Now, give it, like, a year or two for developers to improve with the engines and really know how the system works and like really take advantage of it and all that, games are gonna look amazing. And now the Xbox did the same thing. And the graphics don't come close to the PS3, but a lot of games do, like say Crysis. Crysis looks really good on the Xbox too. I think that's the thing that really interests me the most is the power of the console, the next-gen console, to make the game look good, to make it run better, to give you a better experience. I really don't care about all the social thing and Ustream and Facebook thing. That's cool. I mean, like I said, I could use it for my channel. But what I'm most interested in is the capabilities these next-gen consoles are gonna have to add to the experience of the game. Developers are going to be able to integrate more stuff to only make the experience even more realistic and even more epic. They also threw out the word risk-taking. You know, the risks that a lot of publishers don't want to take that Sony or the PlayStation 4 is going to allow. So that's cool. I always love to hear risk-taking when it comes to a game, to creating a game, because I hate when all these limitations are put on the developers. It's just like, oh my god, man. They come up with a great idea and then they freaking cut it in half. And it's like, nope, can't do that, sorry. And you're just like, you don't really get the full experience that was meant to be. They showed off Knack. This is a new IP. It's very cartoony, which a lot of people were like, what? Why are you showing like cartoony games on the PS4? And I'm just like, what? Who cares? You know, that looks awesome. I love the cartoony feel in video games. Like Ni no Kuni, it looks so cool. I love that. So, and then the first thing I heard was Jennifer Hale's voice, and I was like, oh, hell to the yeah. This game looks pretty interesting. It looks pretty fun. You're like this robot or something like that, like, I don't know, assembles itself and then disassembles itself and like goes all crazy. But I really liked how it looked like. It looked like a Pixar movie or something. It's not like, oh yeah, for show. That's what I'm gonna play that game. I don't know. But it looked interesting. There was Killzone Shadowfall. It looked really good. But I wouldn't play it. I don't play those games. I think what I got from that trailer was what we're in for when it comes to those kinds of games. Like action games and not like cartoony games. That's what we're in for. Like those types of graphics. And that was exciting. And then there was Drive Club. That looked cool, but no. Infamous, Second Son. I've always wanted to play an Infamous game. So this was like, ooh. It made me want to play the previous Infamous games. The Witness, the makers of Braid. I liked Braid. I tried it out on the iPad. My brother had it and I tried it. And it was pretty cool. I like those types of puzzle games. So I don't know. I would probably try it. The environments look beautiful. And then Capcom comes on the stage. Capcom, I've got reserved feelings for Capcom because it's just like, why do you throw so much stuff at us? Like, why so many DLCs? I mean, I remember with Dragon's Dogma, every day there was like 5 DLCs or something like that. It's like, new DLC, new DLC, new DLC. And it's like, Capcom, seriously, you gotta like chill. Capcom has such bad reputation now because of that. It's like, Capcom, why don't you learn? Man, y'all should learn. I couldn't prevent from being excited about this game deep down. I mean, you guys know that that's my style of game, man. Oh my god. Freaking Sword and Shield, dragon, what? I've got a soft spot for dragons. I've got a soft spot for warriors with sword and shield. Oh, hell yeah. So I was like, I definitely want to know more about it. I want to know what it is. It looks like an RPG. It looks maybe like it's like some kind of Dragon's Dogma type of thing. But that environment, that setting, that is just, it always gets me. Always. Square Enix comes on and they're like, they didn't really say anything. They were just saying expect another Final Fantasy title in E3. And I'm like, of course there's going to be another one. And Watch Dogs. Ubisoft. Watch Dogs. Hell yeah. You know I'm all about Watch Dogs. I was excited. Dude, I've been excited about Watch Dogs since E3 last year. That game looks so fun. It looks like something Rockstar would have done, but it's Ubisoft. I'm excited about that game so much. I want that game so bad. So it's cool that it's a next-gen game. Well, kind of cool because you need a next-gen console to play it. I think Watch Dogs they said it was a PS4 exclusive, didn't they? I'm gonna need a PS4! Blizzard comes on and says that the Diablo 3 is going to be for the PS3 and for the PS4. Okay. They closed it off with Destiny from Bungie. And when I did my video about Destiny, I forgot to say that Activision is in on this as well. So it's Bungie, Activision, and Sony. They showed a little bit more of the gameplay. And it looks really cool. I don't know. Like I said before in my previous video, it looks like a type of game that I would really have to try to get into because it's really hard for me to get into first-person shooters because I'm not good at them. It's being made for the PS3 and the PS4. They're making versions for both, which is cool. I like that. I like that idea. Because it's like, well, yeah, you don't have to get a PS4 to play it. You could just play it on the PS3. But I think it probably doesn't have all of those crazy, if you get it for the PS3, I don't think you're going to be able to do like all those social things because that's made easy on the PS4. It's like, oh yeah, I know how you're going to do that. Once I saw that it was going to be for the PS4, I was like, oh yeah, you push the share button, blah, blah, blah. But for the PS3, you're probably just going to have to jump through more hoops. It's not going to be as easy. That's pretty much what they showed for gameplay. They also showed this move thing. I think it was called Creative. That's what it said on the screen, Creative. I didn't see a title. I think that was the title. But it was like sculpting your own thing. Now let me talk a little bit about the concerns that I have. I already said the things that I like. And I talked a little bit about the concerns. Like one of them is the whole discless thing. Not having any discs. I want a system that runs fast. And that there's no load screens and all that, of course. So if that's the price you have to pay for no CDs, That's going to be really hard to get used to for me. Because I've never used cloud gaming. I mean, I have downloaded, of course, like Walking Dead. But like big games, like say Mass Effect 3 or like Dragon Age or something like that, download it? No. I feel like I'm going to lose it. I don't know why. I feel like like when you're holding cash in public, I feel like that. Like, I'm like, it's going to fall. I prefer to have it like, you know, my collection of games. I like collecting games, and I like physical. And I knew eventually that this was going to happen, where it's like, nope, no more games. Kind of like with CDs, like original soundtracks, they almost all go straight to iTunes. You rarely find a CD, a physical copy. And I hate that. I'm just like, man, I want the actual copy. I want to have it. Like when I went to the composer's thing, I had a physical copy that they could sign. And that was cool. Like I have an autograph. It's not going to surprise me if the PS4 doesn't have a disc tray. It's not going to surprise me at all. But it's going to be pretty worrisome. I mean, what about gaming stores like GameStop? That's going to screw them over. Because what are they going to sell? Cards of download this game? There's going to be cards everywhere? I don't know. Another thing is, will it run as smooth as they're saying? This is another concern. I mean, I don't know if it would be a concern for me, but for people with like their internet services, what if they have bad connections? How is that going to affect the performance of the PS4? Even if the PS4 has the power to go like fast and to work really well, if you have a sucky internet connection, it's probably going to not work that great. I did read though, people were like, do you have to be connected online all the time, every time you play? And I read that a developer said the PS4 does not use an always-on DRM feature or require constant internet connection. But they did say you can play offline, but you may want to keep it connected. I hate when people say that. It always makes me feel like, oh man, you know, it's like, oh no, you don't have to. But it's better if you do. It's like, I guess because they want you to use the PS4 at its full advantage and share and use stream and all that. They want to encourage you to use that. But for people that really don't want to use it, I'm sure that you could play offline and still have a great experience playing the game. Gaming and games haven't really changed when it comes to how they're played for years. It hasn't changed if you think about it. Graphics have changed. The capability of gameplay has changed. There has been new technology introduced, like touch screens and like the Kinect, like motion sensor, that has been more and more integrated in like the Kinect and the Move. But it hasn't been forced on you yet. Like I said before, it hasn't been integrated in the system. It hasn't been integrated in every game that comes out because it's part of the system now. It's always been an option. And now it seems like gaming is starting to take a turn that it hasn't taken in years, which kind of scares me because it's like, oh, I love where gaming is at right now, and I'm all about improving graphics and improving the capabilities of gameplay and how much you could put into this game. But what I'm not really cool about, what I don't like, is when they start throwing new ways of playing a game and like saying, no, you're gonna have to get used to this because this is exactly where gaming is going. You know what I mean? That kind of like, oh my God. It makes me feel like one day we're not gonna have controllers anymore. We're gonna have to play games by motion sensor, where it's like, no, we're getting you guys used to this. It's like eventually it's going to be virtual reality and all you're going to need are glasses. I don't want that. I do not want that. I want to be using a controller or a mouse and keyboard. I like to just sit down and play a game. That's what I like to do. I don't like to I don't want to have to think like, okay, I got to put the controller down now and yeah, come on, punk, let's do this. I think it all has to do with different types of people and all that. But as long as it's an option and it's not boom, thrown in your face and it's like, you got to use it now. If games aren't on CDs, shouldn't they be cheaper? I was hearing people saying that games for the PS4 were probably going to range like in the hundreds, like possibly cost $100. But if it's not CD and it's just downloadable, it should be cheaper because they don't have to go into like production of the case, the CD, none of that. It's just the game, that's it. So it should be cheaper, technically speaking. It should even be cheaper than these games. I mean, you probably would be paying for the content, but still, it's minus everything that goes into the production of this. It'd be minus all of this, which is probably not that much. But I would expect that games should be a little bit cheaper, not more. Either cheaper or about the same. If it was about the same, I'd be like, okay, you're paying for a lot of content, a lot of graphics, a lot, for a next gen. But if it's more, that's gonna suck. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about the PS4. It was all exciting to me. Of course, I know that we all have probably even more questions now when it comes to the PS4 and next-gen games in general. Even for Microsoft, it's like, oh my god, what does Microsoft have in store? How are they going to top this? How are they going to compare to this, differ? Are they going to add something completely different? E3 is going to be really cool this year. I'd love to know what you guys think. What do you think about the PS4? What are your guys' concerns? What do you guys like most about it? What games did you like? So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. They're saying that this is like the first of its kind of the type of game, and I think it's because it's connecting social networking and all that.